Hey, what's going on with it once again, ladies and gentlemen, fanboys and fangirls like this, the one, the only, of course, Mr. Criticism Guy 2009, aka Sinnoh Unova 2011, and of course, Nintendo Manga 360 back again with another video. So, it's been about a week or two, maybe 3 weeks since I'm looking at my calendar, like blowing in the fan wind or whatever, because my fan's on the ceiling. I'm probably going to do a part 2 of this, just in case you guys are wondering why I'm going to stumble pretty soon, because I just got work in about an hour from now, so bear with me. So I'm going to have to do a 2-parter, maybe, maybe not. But yeah, before I begin real quick, the reason why I was I can't even talk at all, because it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. 3 weeks probably, or 2 weeks, I don't know. I know the last the Versus Final series review I've been doing for a while lately. I haven't had a lot of thought and creativity with it, but I did stumble. And this is actually big news that came out yesterday. It actually inspired me to do more like Versus Spike series reviews with like some fantasy character shit. Not Final Fantasy, because I don't really care about that series. If you love this series for Final Fantasy, that's good. More power to you. For me, that shit was just fucking boring. I didn't like it at all. It was fucking crap. There's too many fucking damn puzzles in that fucking game. I really don't care too much for it. Final Fantasy was just shit for me. Even though the girls were really fucking sexy, they were beautiful, like Tifa and then that other chick with the yellow hair, and then the main character of, I think, Final Fantasy 3 or 4. I never really cared for her. I know a couple of my cousins back in the day, PS1, PS2, they were huge Final Fantasy fanboys and fangirls. But for me, it just didn't do it for me. I'm sorry, it just didn't. But yeah, other than that, oh yeah, this brand new news. I'm going to talk about it more in the Nintendo Sony for 2011 channel if you want to learn more. But I actually found out that yesterday, nothing to do with this thing, well, halfway related, but not really. Pokemon, all you Pokemon fans out there, old school, new school, that were into old school Pokemon games like Ruby and Sapphire and shit, and Emerald. For omegaruby and alphasapphire, the remakes, which I'm going to try to get November 6th, maybe on the day of launch. So I'm going to try to pre-order mine shit if I can. But yeah, I actually found out that there was 2 new Mega Evolutions. Not 1, but 2. Because of course the third one we already knew last year was Mega Blaziken and shit. And you already know I felt that Mega Blaziken, along with another list I have, like, first generation was just Charizard for me. Second generation, it was, I want to say, Typhlosion, yeah. Third gen was Blaziken, it was overrated. Fourth gen, I think it was, I'd say Infernape or Empoleon, one of those 2. And fifth gen, I felt was Samurai. I didn't like him too much either. Sixth generation, it seems like it's Greninja. That's the overrated one now. That's why I don't like him too much either. I still like Chestnut way more, but that's a different video. So, I'm going to stop rambling and get to you to my future fantasy segment fighting reviews, or discussions, or whatever I call it. First one, and this video that I'm doing now is going to be Godzilla, since the movie came out 5-6 weeks ago, last month. It was May 14th. It's already June 8th already. It'll probably be June 9th tomorrow by the time I upload this, maybe not. First one up, you could probably skip the past 10 to 15 minutes of this too, because I'm going to be here for a little while before I get to the fights and what do I think, who would win and shit. So Godzilla versus Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. I call him Rayquaza. Some people call it Rayquaza. Me, I call it Rayquaza. The next one in 4th generation I'll be getting to is Godzilla versus Palkia, Dialga, Giratina, Heatran, Regigigas, Cresselia, and Darkrai. That's a lot of Pokemon going up against one big giant godlike creature, which is Godzilla. Of course, it has the name God in it. 5th generation. It's going to be a little bit shorter for 5th and 6th generation, which is Unova and Kalos, because there weren't that many really big, strong Pokemon that were in that one. I'm actually determining the Pokemon by their size and what their design looks like, because the little baby legendary Pokemon, and I excluded those off the list because they're way too small to take on a big-ass giant creature like Godzilla. So Pokemon like Latios, or even the small ones like Mew, Jirachi, Azelf, Mercifrit, Uxie, Shaman, Manaphy, Phione, and then 5th generation like Victini, Meloetta, Keldeo, Genesect. They're way too fucking little to like go up against Godzilla. They will get crushed within seconds of Godzilla's big giant fucking foot, literally. He would just crush him with his feet and boom. Game over. Godzilla would win. That's why I decided it was kind of unfair to have the little baby legendary Pokemon, or just average size Pokemon that like go up against Godzilla. They have to be the ginormous, big legendaries, you know? That's why I put them against Godzilla, because they would have more of a fair chance to defeat him. Maybe, who knows? But with that out of the way, the next one in the 5th generation, the next Fantasy Fight series review discussion video that I do in the future is going to be Reshiram, however you want to say it. I used to call it Regiram, but then I found that was wrong, so I called it Reshiram. Zekrom, Kyurem, or Kyurem, however you want to pronounce it. I can't stand it when people say Kyurem, because it sounds like it's an I in it. I don't know. Kyurem sounds better to me. I'm sorry. And then the second forms for Kyurem, which is Black and White Kyurem versus Godzilla, all in the one fight. And the last one will be, for 6th generation for Kalos, is going to be Godzilla versus Xerneas, or Xerneas, how some people say it. Yveltal, however you want to pronounce Yveltal's name, which is the dark flying legendary there. Zygarde, or Zygarde, I don't even know how to say his name. I think it's Zygarde. And then the last one, which was the event Pokemon that never came out, the one that's like Diancie and Hoopa, which is called Volcanion. Volcanion. Kind of looks like Heatran a little bit, except instead of fire steel, he's fire water. Which I actually always wanted to see what a fire water Pokemon would look like, and I guess we got Volcanion. Even though they're event Pokemon, there's still not a lot known about them, except for Diancie, which is the rock fairy type. The only things that we know about Diancie is that it's a rock fairy, and then it's getting its own movie. I think that's the Cocoon of Destruction or something like that. I think that's what it's called. It sounds like a play of that Genocide Mewtwo movie that came out last year, but or the year before, I think. I don't know. But other than that, yeah, let's get it started. So as you can see, after 10-15 minutes of wasting our time, I apologize, people. But right here, the thing turned off, man. I don't know why. There's Godzilla, and he will be fighting up against today Groudon, however you want to say it. I always call it Groudon. Kyogre, some people like to call it Kyogre or Kyogre. That's fucking weird as shit, but whatever. Kyogre. And then, of course, the last one, Rayquaza. The reason why I didn't put the others like the 3 Regis or Deoxys or, like I said with Jirachi, it's a baby Pokemon. Plus their average size, I don't think they would stand a chance against Godzilla. So that's why I put the 3 biggest, tallest, and strongest like legendaries, which was Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza, however you want to say it. So other than that, I'm going to exit out all of those, and let's begin. So Godzilla, what I know about Godzilla, unfortunately, is pretty much what I've seen, not in the movies, but mostly in the arcade games. I know he's able to do like these ice beams, plasma beams, fire breath. He's got like a couple other attacks on him, but it's pretty fucking strong. Not just using his fist to fist all the time to beat the shit out of the other monsters, which are called the kaijus, if any people don't know what that is. The Japanese monsters. In a way, of course, Godzilla, legendary-wise, he would pretty much kick the crap out of legendary Pokemon, because obviously he's been around since, what, 1950, and Pokemon was only around since, what, 96, 97? So it's a lot older than the Pokemon series franchise, obviously. But the thing with Godzilla, the thing I never really liked too much about Godzilla, no offense to Godzilla fanboys and fangirls out there, I'm not a really huge Godzilla fan, but the thing is, I did love Godzilla. I loved the shit out of him, and not really the movies too much, or the TV shows from the 70s and 80s, because I wasn't born until, what, 89? So I barely even knew shit about that. I will say this, is that Godzilla, unfortunately for me, what makes him weak, especially the 1998-2000 films I saw from him, when I was in my 90s kids and 2000s kids days, almost 2000 teen years almost, they made him very fucking shitty as fuck in that movie. Oh my god. One of the worst experiences, unfortunately, the first time I saw Godzilla was probably the worst times. Because I think the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, not the late 90s, version of Godzilla looked a lot more badass than the other one. Especially in the arcade version from the 80s and 90s. I like that one a lot more. If any people have never played the Rampage games with him versus King Kong, that shit was fucking awesome. I love the hell out of that arcade game. That arcade game locked inside my head in this nostalgic noggin of mine. I really loved the shit out of it. It was beautiful. It was an amazing, wonderful event in my life, especially as a 90s kid. Growing up playing a lot of arcade games, going out every week, you know, of course with my family and my cousins and shit, because unfortunately I was kind of like an antisocial kind of dude. I didn't really have a lot of friends and shit, so I mainly hung out with my cousins at that time. Until I was in my teens, then I had my real friends and shit, and they were my cousins, which was even better. But the thing is, with Godzilla, I really didn't care too much for him in the movies. I don't know why. He was just horrible in the movies. I was more into the Jurassic Park shit that was going on. The one that Michael Keaton, I think he was the director for, or Steven Spielberg made. That was the one I liked. Godzilla 1 and 2, I really liked a lot. Godzilla 3 was, man, that was alright. William H. Macy in that movie, he was okay. I wasn't crazy about him, he was okay. And his son was a fucking brat. I didn't like him at all. Even though he was like surviving and shit in the own in the wild, but that was different. Now here's the thing. Let's get into like the legendary shit with Godzilla. Obviously, I think he came from like he was like an experiment or something. I'm probably gonna be wrong in a lot of things because I didn't really do no research before I did this video. I'm just going out on a limb and saying what I think is true about Godzilla. The thing is, with Godzilla, I think in my opinion, is that Godzilla. Sorry about that, people. It's fucking birds outside. But you might hear dogs barking too. I'm sorry about that. The thing with Godzilla, I keep stalling about that, is that I think it was made from like an atomic, like nuclear blast or something like that, or an atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, I don't know, something like that under the Japanese Ocean. And then like years or hundreds of thousands of years later in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, around that area, when movies were still old school black, white, and it was barely even getting into color once the 60s came. That shit was wild as fuck. What I will say is that well, Godzilla, you know, he ended up getting a lot of these superpowers, I think, after like the 70s, 80s, or 90s. I'm probably going to be wrong on that. So please, fanboys of Godzilla and fangirls of Godzilla, don't eat me out. Don't leave a lot of shitty out disliking, oh, you're a fucking faggot because you don't know about Godzilla. Fuck you, you know. Yeah, you're right. I really don't know too much about Godzilla, but I do know about him a lot in the games. His gaming adaptation, I know him a lot better than I do in the movie adaptation because I didn't like him too much in the movies, I'll be honest with you. I didn't hate the series. I just wasn't a really huge fan of it. You know, it was okay, but it wasn't the best. Okay, if you get what I'm saying, you feel me? But yeah, other than that, I really didn't like him too much in the movies. His adaptation there was kind of crap. I'm sorry. The people that were acting in the movies, it was even worse. It made Godzilla look good. Seriously, that's how bad they were. Especially that one with Matthew Broderick, the one that was in that 80s film a long time before I was born, the Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like, his shit was crap in there. I'm sorry, he was bad. He was better in fucking Inspector Gadget in the late 90s, early 2000s film, and he wasn't that. And I think Deck the Halls, too. I think it was 2003 or 4. The movie we did with Danny DeVito. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about movies. We're talking about Godzilla right now. So, let's carry on with that shit. I think, in my opinion, with Godzilla, oh my god. In the games, he was able to crush buildings, destroy mountains, all that fucking shit. Seriously. He took on this other... The only enemy I remember he had was Mechagodzilla, the one that was like the steel robot version of Godzilla, and I think alien monkeys controlled it. I don't know. Something like that. Within those lines. Something along those lines. The thing with another thing Godzilla has a weakness for is that I don't know what it is. Sometimes, I guess... I don't know if he gets into an ocean or lava or some shit, he gets burned real bad, so... I guess that's his weakness, so if he's around some kind of fire or whatever, it hurts him. I don't know. I could be talking out of my ass about this for all I know. But yeah, he had a lot of superpowers. Like I said, he could do ice beams, plasma beams. He could shoot fire from out of his breath. He could like slam freaking... his physical strength, obviously. He could use his arms and legs. He could just toss enemies left and right. He could break all their bones. He could body slam the shit out of motherfuckers. Seriously. He could tail slam his big giant tail into fucking buildings. Use buildings as fucking shields or use them as like weapons to just break the crap out of freaking other kaiju Japanese monsters. That shit was G as fuck. I loved watching that as a 90s kid, and not for the movies, like I said, they were okay, but I wasn't crazy about them. Even the 60s, 70s ones, it was meh, it was alright. The 90s ones I really didn't like, and the 2000, of course the recent one, 2014, I can't say because I haven't seen the movie, so I'm just going to wait till some Blu-ray DVD, because I kind of heard a lot of negative reviews about it. And some people liked it, the mainstream audience liked it, but not like the hardcore fanboys and fangirls. They didn't like it as much, unfortunately. So that's why I want my gut feeling, me being a fanboy of other like different genres and mediums out there, I didn't really want to go out and see it. So that's why I didn't do any movie reviews for the new 2014 Godzilla that came out last month. That was just me. I go on speculation like that. Like other than that, besides all that shit, I will say that Godzilla was pretty fucking hardcore in the games. And, I don't know, attack and speed, his attack, of course, is attack, special attack will be very fucking off the charts, same with defense, special defense. The only thing he would be slow in is his speed. Not the fastest runner in the world, but his strength makes up for it. And of course he can't fly or nothing like that. So that's all Godzilla, as you've been seeing, hopefully. I know you've been seeing the other pictures too, of Groudon, Rayquaza, and Kyogre. So the first Pokemon I'm going to put up against Godzilla is Groudon. And who else better to fucking fight a monster-like dinosaur with a Pokemon version of a monster-like dinosaur Pokemon? Because obviously when I first saw Groudon, the first Hoenn region I got for the game, because first and second generation I got blue, second gen I got silver, and then crystal. I never got gold. Third generation I got ruby, sapphire, and emerald. I got all three of them. And then the rest I got every single one. I got diamond, pearl, platinum. I got black, white. I might have black and white too. I might have sold it by now. I still don't have X and Y yet. I still have to get that shit. And it's way late out the game on that. I know that. Maybe one day I'll probably do an opening on the Nintendo Freak 2011 channel if you want to check that out. Or Nintendo Sony Freak, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so let's see. That's all the kaiju shit right there. It's Godzilla doing his thing. There's Rayquaza, but I'm going to get to him and Kyogre next. So Groudon, I almost called him Rayquaza. Groudon, however you want to pronounce his name. Obviously, this fucker, he is hardcore, badass, balls to the wall. Epic. Epic as shit. Now, I actually have my power drink here, Powerade drink. Let me take a sip of this and I'll get back to you in a second. Shit always hits the spot. I don't know why. It's good. Whew. But yeah, yeah. What was I saying? With Groudon and shit, you know, he's hardcore. He was the best legendary Pokemon out of Rayquaza and Groudon. Even though Rayquaza and Groudon were my two favorites, I loved the shit out of Groudon way more than Rayquaza. Kyogre, I didn't like him too much, but I'm going to put him on here anyways for the hell of it. But yeah, and I know they were based off of like a Jewish traditional like Arabic legend or something like that. I don't know. I've not really dug deep into it, but they're supposed to be like a Jewish, Israeli kind of like symbol in the religion for Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza. I don't know. Like sky, earth, and water. I think that's what it is. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, something symbolic like that. But other than that, let's keep going with Groudon. Obviously, he was one of the first Pokemon to get the ability. This is when Ruby and Sapphire introduced the mechanic for abilities. Because before that, first and second gen, they didn't have it at all. Period. It was non-existent. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, they gave that element to, it was the first introduction to like running shoes, the dive attack, what else? The Battle Frontier remastered, the Battle Pike and all that shit. The Frontier Brains, that was the first like introduction to all those. The Eon Ticket, Wynut, that little island over there, the Reggies. I didn't put the Reggies in here because they were way too little to fight on Godzilla. They're only like 4 or 5 foot something. Their legendaries are strong and powerful, but Godzilla would demolish the living shit out of them if any of those Reggies fought. But except for one, Regigigas, which he's on the list, but that's going to be for the next video one day. Which is maybe next week or the week after, I don't know. Only time will tell. But it's probably been 20-25 minutes, so it's probably going to be a 40-45 minute video. Maybe a 50 minute, so sorry if you still hear this long, but if you are a nice, loyal fan, and I love you guys. If you're a guy, no homo. If you're a girl, call me out. Or Facebook or Twitter me or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, let me say, another cool thing I loved about Groudon is just the fucking concept, the design. Those big ass fucking giant claws. It had the big giant claw tail it had in the background. The what's it called? That big giant like symbolic symbols that it had on its like arms, its legs everywhere. It's like it's carved into its body. When he had the red orb, he glowed. That shit in my nostalgic teen years. I was like in my teen years in middle school. I thought like 13, 14. I think it was 02, 2003 when that shit came out. I remember that. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. I loved the hell out of it. And once I got to Groudon, my Pokemon Ruby game, I was excited. It took me like maybe 6-7 times. I had to keep restarting my Game Boy Advance because, of course, the DS, the 3DS didn't exist till later on. It was 06, 07 later on. And then 3DS, of course, it was 2011, yeah. I will say this, that Groudon, I know his biggest weakness is, unfortunately, it's grass and I think water and along with ice. Because I really wish he would have been a ground fire type because he's able to learn a lot of fire type moves, but why can't he be a fire type, you know? If he would have been ground fire, obviously would have been double super effective against, what was it? Not ice types. Double super effective against water types, yeah. Then it would have been a big ass fucking problem, obviously. But other than that, I will say that, what was I going to say? Yeah, a lot of his really big-time attack moves like Fissure, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, back in 3rd gen, before all the 4th, 5th, and 6th gen, like, attacks existed, like Flare Blitz, what else? That Turbo Blaze thing that Rush Around has later on, or Fusion Flare. None of those, none of those fire-type attacks even, like, existed yet, so that was just Groudon. So, the thing that makes him really good, I know his attack, special attack, defense and special are really good. The only thing that makes, unfortunately, just like Godzilla shitty is that its speed is very shitty, it's very bad, low, it's degrading, and it's almost, if I could do it, face palm, That's what it is, or forehead palm in that case. But yeah, other than that, I didn't care too much, unfortunately, for its speed, but the rest of it, I loved the hell out of it. I loved its cry, I loved its attack, its just design was just flawless. Beautiful, amazing. This Pokemon Groudon was a fucking beast. G as fuck. He can learn Iron Tail too, by the way, which I love the fuck out of. Other than that, that's pretty much all I have to say about Groudon. You really don't have to know about Groudon's back history, Kyogre. You could look on Google or Bulbapedia, which I actually looked on Bulbapedia for some of the information too. Another last thing I want to say that's cool about Groudon is that I'm not sure about this, in 4th generation they actually brought him back in Heart Gold Soul Silver when you get him into that little, like, I forgot what it's called, and that little pillar thing where you get either Groudon or Kyogre or Rayquaza, however you want to say it, and you have to have the Jade Orb, I know, for, like, Rayquaza, which I got, and then Groudon, he had the Red Orb and Blue Orb for Kyogre. Shit was awesome as fuck. Alright, let's get to Kyogre now. I'm gonna get Rayquaza last. So Kyogre, obviously, beast of the fucking ocean, beast of the sea. The only one that was almost as big as Kyogre was Wailord. And of course, everyone knows who Wailord is. He's the one that opens up, like, the 3 Reggies when you get that one in the beginning. I think it's Wailord in the beginning and Relicanth at the end, or is that reverse opposite? It's been like 10, 11 years since I played Ruby or Sapphire, so it has been a little while. The thing that's cool about Kyogre, even though I don't like him too much, I will say that one cool element that I like about him is that his design's okay, I'm not crazy about it, but I love the attack range that he has. That's a cool ass thing I like about him. The rest, no, I'm not crazy about. If he were to go up against Godzilla, he'd probably have to use a lot of ice type attacks. Maybe not water type moves, that probably wouldn't hurt Godzilla too much, but obviously he'd probably use Hurricane or some shit like that, even though that didn't exist in the 3rd gen. That wasn't like until Pokemon Black and White Unova region came out. That's when it existed. But if he would have had Hurricane back then, he would have been monstrous as hell, literally. That thing would have pwned the crap out of everything. Besides having a sheer cold, a blizzard, surf most of the time, maybe Hydro Pump, Hydro Cannon if he was able to learn it, even though I think Blastoise was only able to learn it, and all the water final starter evolutions were able to learn it, and that was it. But yeah, other than that, sorry if I'm itching my nose, I don't know what's up with that. I will say that this fucker's hardcore. He'd probably use Crunch if it wanted to, if it didn't learn Crunch. I don't fucking know. Possibilities are endless with Kyogre and Godzilla. He could probably, like, pull him under the water with his big giant teeth or something with Godzilla, and he could probably drown him to death. Pretty much murder him to death under the water until he doesn't breathe. Unless Godzilla could swim, and if he grows gills, he wouldn't have to worry about drowning, obviously. He could breathe underwater. But yeah, I could see Kyogre being a halfway, not a huge threat, but a halfway decent threat. And another thing is that if he uses any of his special attacks on this fucker, Godzilla might have a chance of going down. Like, if he throws buildings at Godzilla, or if he throws, I don't know. I know he can't use no fire type moves or nothing, or lava, volcano kind of moves, but I will say he stands a little bit of a smaller chance compared to Groudon. Groudon looks like he could beat the living shit out of fucking Godzilla any time of the day. But the thing is with Godzilla, he's like, what? In the older one, he was 167 feet. The other one was 267. And the last one was 780 feet. So I think he's got a little bit more taller, because I think he's like, Groudon's like 600-700 foot maybe. So he's almost as tall as Godzilla. And I think, I don't know. And with Kyogre, he's shorter, but he's a lot more longer in range than he is in width. And the thing with Kyogre, its speed, I think, is a little bit better. Especially if you use Rain Dance, it'll be way quicker than Rain. What else? Its attack, special attack's good. I think his defense is special defense. It may or may not be shitty. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. I'm not into competitive battling shit, but I know about it though. I'm aware of it. And that's pretty much all I gotta say about Kyogre. You know, you don't have to know the backstory of Kyogre either. Groudon and Kyogre, they got their rivalries. Google it if you want, if you really want to know about them. Last but not least, it's probably not on the list. Well, it is on the list. You can check that Groudon out. It's sick as fuck. Rayquaza. And the reason I know I shouldn't have put Rayquaza on this list because it's kind of unfair advantage that he can fly and Godzilla can't. The reason how I compared these two similarities to these two, they're both in the reptilian dragon family. That's how it is. Because Godzilla, he's a dinosaur dragon, or Rayquaza, he's kind of in the same species as Godzilla, so he could be a distant brother or cousin of Groudon. So, because they're both reptilians, that's what they are. And I'm going to talk about like Illuminati or Freemason and shit. No. I'm still going to talk about that. It's this month I was going to do a top 50 to 100 alternative media truth news videos. I'm going to be doing that. First thing tomorrow, Monday morning, you will see one of those. I can guarantee it to you. Or Monday afternoon. It's probably going to be Monday afternoon. Who knows? But yeah, you will see more alternative media news. I haven't been doing that. I'm probably going to do it 6-7 more months because unfortunately I think next year I'm probably going to end up quitting that because I really want to focus more on anime and more positive stuff than I do negative. I'll still keep the rants, but I'm probably going to throw away the alternative media. I've been doing it like 4 or 5 years already. I'm getting tired of it. I'm saying. That's why I kind of took a 6-month break on it. But I'm still going to be doing a couple more alternative media videos before I completely like take them out, unfortunately. I really don't want to, but kind of have to. But yeah, other than that, let's get to Rayquaza now. But Rayquaza, my god, this fucker is so fucking hardcore, I'm telling you right now. He's able to learn Outrage. He was one of the hardest fucking Pokemon to ever catch. It took me about 20 to 30 times, when I had my Game Boy Advance and my Game Boy Advance SD to try to, not destroy, but catch Rayquaza, because he was always using fucking Outrage. He used Outrage and Sleep, and that irritated the fuck out of me. And then he used Fly, and I think Hyper Beam that he used, I don't know. It was either Hyper Beam or Dragon Claw. It was one of those two he had. But I will say, I know in the Emerald, and hopefully they make the Delta Emerald game. That would be awesome as fuck if they do that. Because I know Groudon, Kyogre, and Rayquaza, they're all getting like prehistoric evolutions, de-evolutions. I'm going to get more into that on my Nintendo Free channel when I talk more about that update that they did yesterday, which will be 3 days by tomorrow, Monday, once it came out. But that's another story. Because I know they got Mega Swampert, Mega Sceptile. I'm going to be talking about that on my other channel if you want to be more into stay in tune with that. The thing I really loved about Rayquaza is that his fucking ass not only uses Outrage, even though it's a little annoying when you're trying to catch it. Let's use Master Ball. It's a fucking snap. Easy as hell. Or if you have hacks. You know, if you used the Game Shark back in the days, you know what I'm talking about. This is before Action Replay and all the ROM hacks existed at that time. I will say this, that this fucker was hardcore as shit. I mean, it's intimidating. It's design right there. Look at that shit. Big giant eyes, big huge ass claws on its fucking like hands. Not just his hands, but his big giant fangs he has. That's intimidating as fuck. I was actually even a little scared, even as a teenager, like 13, 14, when I saw him. I was like, holy fuck, what is this Pokemon? He looks fucking cool as shit. He looks scary, but he's a boss. He looks pretty badass. That's why I really like Rayquaza and Groudon a lot more than Kyogre. Kyogre, he's a little intimidating, but I don't like him too much. I don't know, I never cared about Kyogre as much. I don't know why. He wasn't really interested in me. Even though I put him on this list to fight Godzilla, I only put him because he was part of the trio, obviously. And he was part of that like Jewish Israeli mythology thing, whatever. Of land, earth, air, and sea, or whatever. But I will say this. I know I keep saying I will say this. I want to sound more sophisticated, you know? Nothing wrong with that, right? Am I right? Am I wrong? Who knows? I will tell you this, people, that this fucker right here, Rayquaza, he's a force to be reckoned with. He was already shown in like 2 other games, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, or that one, one of the Pokemon pinball games right there for Ruby and Sapphire. I think in Troza he was shown, and then like he had a little special role last year when the Pokemon Rumble came out for the Wii U. That one was cool. I actually liked watching that. It was actually from this girl named Angel the Night 89 or 90. No. Angel the Night 91, aka Elena. She doesn't do like voice commentary. She never like shows her voice off or her face, but she does gameplays, let's plays and shit. So if you want to watch a Pokemon Wi-Fi battle and shit like that, she's the one to watch. I'll put her link down below if you want to check her out. Elena, she is awesome as fuck. I don't know if she's actually like, because I know she's Canadian, but I don't know if there's such thing as Latino Mexicanos like Hispanics that are living in Canada. I don't know, that'd be cool. I doubt it, but that'd be really cool. And now I'm getting on topic, so I'm going to shut up there. Let's get back to this fucker. I know its speed is really good. She has that really badass ability, Airlock. I forgot to mention Kyogre's ability was Drizzle. That's why I can always make it rain all the time. Wish it was making rain on money, because he'd be making it rain on them hoes, you know? But yeah, now I'm getting on topic there. But other than that, Rayquaza, my fucking lord. In the Brawl series, he was hard as fuck to defeat because he was a boss, like Ridley was. He would use like the extreme speed, I think, and Dragon Claw or some shit, and then Hyper Beam. And I think he used like Rest. I don't know. But yeah, for Rayquaza, I might have used Aura Spear. I don't know. Unless I was just Lucario when you had to fight him with Rayquaza. Another really dangerous death threat thing to this fucking Rayquaza Pokemon, he is extremely fucking scary as fuck. Is intimidating. He uses a lot of Hyper Beam, Hyper Blast. How many people I've ever seen Destiny Deoxys, which is the whole reason I fell in love with fucking Rayquaza. Its stat boosts are fucking off the chart. He kicked the living crap almost out of Deoxys. He almost killed him because he invaded his territory. Another thing I forgot to mention, he is extremely territorial because he is the king of the sky. And so if he pretty much sees if it was a real life scenario, if he were to see like a NASA fucking spaceship, some satellite dishes, fucking airplanes, blimps, helicopters, anything flying in the sky, he'd probably obliterate the bejesus out of that fucking thing. He would kill every fucker on that fucking helicopter, plane, blimp, NASA thing, whatever, satellite, if it was real. Thank God it ain't, because if it was, we'd all be fucked. Pretty much. But other than that, getting back to basics on things, excuse me. With Rayquaza, my lord, really good attacks on speed and everything. I think the only thing it probably suffers from is like physical attack. It's kind of weak when it comes to that shit, but all the other stuff is special attack, defense, special defense, speed. Absolutely stunning, amazing, epic, beast, boss, whatever you want to call it. That's really extremely exciting. Just perfect. Perfection to the fullest. That's all I gotta say about that. Top of the line stats except for its physical attack. But that's all I had to say for him there, for Rayquaza. Now who would win, who would lose? Since they're all doing triple fights, and I mean Godzilla would probably lose halfway. The only one that will probably die out of the triple fight is probably Kyogre. Kyogre might fucking die because it's under the ocean. Unless he drags like Godzilla under the water and he doesn't breathe anymore, he'd be dead. Groudon and Groudon versus Godzilla. Like I said, it might actually. I'm probably gonna call it a tie because they're both big ass motherfuckers. They could, if those two were actually in destruction in some city like Tokyo, Los Angeles, New York, or in a fictional city like Gotham City, the other thing, which is Metropolis City like Batman, Superman, all of that shit would be destroyed to fucking pieces. There would be no more humanity. They'd all die, and the only two things that'd be left is Groudon and Godzilla kicking the shit out of each other. And since they both have things like all these different type of like energy beams that come out of their mouth, it'd probably be a tie. So I'm gonna call this franchise-wise. I think Godzilla would probably win over Pokemon, but it hasn't been as relevant as Pokemon's been, so it's almost a tie to Godzilla winning it. But as far as strength goes, brute strength, Godzilla would probably Godzilla versus Groudon, excuse me, it would be a tie game. They'd both be knocked the fuck out after fighting for so long because both of their weight, their strength, their height, how big they are, it's almost equal. So Groudon and Godzilla, I'm going to consider this a tie game. For Rayquaza, not Rayquaza, Kyogre, he'd probably lose, so Godzilla will win over Kyogre. Godzilla will probably kick the shit out of Kyogre, probably put some beams or have his big giant claws that he has in his hands, probably slice the shit out of Kyogre. Kyogre would be dead. That's it. Rest in peace, Kyogre, if he were to fight him. And then Rayquaza, if he's lucky enough, if he's fast enough, he's almost as big as Godzilla, but kind of small. If he's able to fly and maneuver around for a minute, if he's able to speed through him, maybe like use a couple dragon attacks and use his big giant fangs to rip Godzilla into pieces, Rayquaza might win, but this is the thing. Since he's almost not as big as Godzilla, if Godzilla comes in at the right moment and snatches and pretty much strangles the crap out of like Rayquaza with his neck, he could probably snap his neck in half and Rayquaza would die fast. So if Rayquaza isn't fast enough, Godzilla, if he gets his like hand out in the right time, he like slams fucking Rayquaza down with his neck with his fucking claws. He snaps Rayquaza's neck in half. It's over. Rayquaza would lose. So it's kind of like a win-lose situation. Either Rayquaza wins or Godzilla wins, so I'm going to have to call Godzilla, unfortunately, the winner. So the only closest Pokemon that will probably be able to kick the shit out of Godzilla's ass is probably Groudon. That's it. Groudon will probably win over Godzilla. Kyogre, not at all. And the other one, Rayquaza will probably be a tie. So I'd probably put Groudon would win, Godzilla would lose, or the other way. Who knows? And that's pretty much all I got to say. So hopefully you like this one. The other one's probably going to be way longer than this, probably 50, 60 minutes. That's all I have to say for now. Let me check real quick. Oh, shit, 35 minutes. Never mind. That's all I have to say for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this versus battle. I'm going to be doing the Sinnoh Legendaries, Unova Legendaries, and Kalos next. Not all of the Legendaries, just the ones that are big enough. But that's all I have to say for now. So like I always do say, is what it is, ain't what it ain't. See you when I see you guys every day, every night, wherever you're at around the world. Don't drink smoke weed at the same time. Don't drink the reckless. See you soon. See you around. Peace out, ladies. Goodbye. I will talk to you soon. Take it easy, everyone. Be safe. Be easy. Take care, and I'll see you next time. All right. Goodbye. I'm out. See you soon. Peace. And, yeah, take it easy, people. I am out.